3 for 16. That is Caitlin Clark's three-point shooting line to the first 2 games of the 2026 season. And if you have followed her career at all, you already know why that number feels shocking. This is the same player who turned logo threes into a normal part of basketball conversation. The same player who forced scouts to rewind college film because the shot she was taking did not even look real. At University of Iowa, Clark shattered records with 548 career three-pointers, the most in NCAA history. And these were not simple catch-and-shoot looks either. Many came from several feet, beyond the arc, off the dribble, with defenders all over her. That shooting ability completely changed women's basketball. So when Clark opened the 2026 season by shooting 2 for 9 from 3 against the Dallas Wings, people noticed immediately. Then came the matchup with the Los Angeles Sparks, where she finished just 1 for 7 from deep. Combined, that leaves her shooting only 75% from 3 through 2 games. For most players, that would just be a rough start. For Caitlin Clark, it feels almost impossible to process. There's a strange silence that happens when Clark misses multiple threes in a game. Not normal crowd disappointment, but actual confusion. Fans almost pause trying to understand what they just watched because missing difficult shots has never really been part of how people view her game. And honestly, that is what made the Dallas opener feel so different. It was not only the missed shots, it was the way her body looked during the game. Multiple times, Clark headed back toward the tunnel while trainers checked on her physically. Afterward, head coach Stephanie White explained that Clark needed adjustments for her back and insisted it was not considered a new injury. Still, when a shooter with Clark's history suddenly looks uncomfortable physically while also struggling from deep, people are naturally going to start asking questions. Because this is not just any shooter going through a cold streak. This is one of the greatest long-range scorers women's basketball has ever seen. Her entire career has been built on range, rhythm, and confidence from distances most players would never even attempt. So when those shots stop falling even temporarily, the reaction becomes massive immediately. Now, the attention shifts toward what comes next. Is this simply early season rust? Is her back affecting her mechanics more than the team wants to admit? Or is Clark still adjusting to a new offensive system and physical demands entering 2026? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. When Caitlin Clark struggles from three-point range, the entire basketball world notices. That statistic completely changes the conversation around Caitlin Clark's slow start from three-point range. Because while the outside shot has looked unfamiliar through 2 games, the overall offensive impact has still been elite. Clark is not struggling to play basketball. She is adapting her game while her body catches back up to where her instincts already wanted to be. After the Dallas game, Clark openly admitted that the back issue has affected how freely she moves and how much she trusts her mechanics. She explained that she has been overly cautious in certain situations and that rebuilding confidence in her body is going to take time. That matters because shooting, especially from deep range, depends heavily on rhythm, balance, and complete trust in every movement. For a player whose entire game has always been built on fluidity and confidence, even a slight hesitation can throw everything off. And yet, despite all of that, she is still producing at an extremely high level. Through the first 2 games of 2026, Clark is averaging more than 20 points and 8 assists per game. Against Dallas, she dropped 20 points even while shooting just 2 for 9 from beyond the arc. Then she followed it with 24 points and 9 assists against Los Angeles while shooting 9 for 17 overall from the floor. Those are not empty numbers. That is a superstar finding ways to dominate even while her signature weapon is temporarily inconsistent. What has changed most noticeably is where the offense is coming from. Instead of relying almost entirely on logo threes and deep pull-ups, Clark has been attacking defenses downhill. She's getting into the paint, absorbing contact, finishing through defenders, and creating high-percentage opportunities around the rim. Her 2-point shooting percentage through the first 2 games has been over 80%, which is one of the best marks in the league right now. Think about how remarkable that actually is. A player known globally for impossible three-pointers is suddenly becoming one of the most efficient interior scorers in professional basketball. That is not the sign of someone falling apart. That is the sign of someone evolving. There are also real structural adjustments happening around her. Defenses are loading up earlier, pressuring her more physically, and forcing her to work harder for every touch. Officials are allowing more contact, which changes timing and spacing. On top of that, Stephanie White's system appears to ask Clark to operate in different areas of the floor compared to previous seasons, which impacts the rhythm of her catch-and-shoot opportunities. All of those things matter, but none of them change the bigger truth. The shot itself still looks close. Clark has repeatedly said she can feel it coming back. And historically, great shooters do not suddenly forget how to shoot. Sometimes the body just needs time to reconnect with the confidence the mind already has. That is why the 3 for 16 number feels so strange right now. Not because Caitlin Clark suddenly became a bad shooter, but because everyone watching knows what she normally is. The silence after those misses is not disappointment. It is disbelief. Fans are waiting for the moment the rhythm clicks again. Because once it does, the version of Clark attacking the rim and finishing efficiently becomes even scarier when paired with the deep shooting everyone already fears. And if that happens soon, the rest of the league is going to have a major problem on its hands. She is shooting above 80% on 2-point attempts while also averaging 8 assists per game. And somehow people are calling this a slump. That is how absurd the expectations around Caitlin Clark have become. Most players in this league would celebrate numbers like that. Clark is putting them up while everyone focuses almost entirely on the fact that a few deep threes have not dropped yet. Lisa Leslie addressed this directly, and she did not dance around the point. Her argument was simple. When a guard is finishing above 80% inside the arc, defenses are forced into impossible decisions. You cannot let her attack downhill uncontested. But the moment extra defenders collapse into the paint, everything else starts breaking apart around them. Rotations get late. Help defenders abandon assignments. Passing lanes open up. One player forces the entire defense into survival mode. That is exactly what happened against the Los Angeles Sparks. Clark repeatedly drove into the lane and drew multiple defenders toward her on several possessions. Aaliyah Boston had 3 defenders collapsing in her direction because the defense was reacting to Clark's penetration first. That attention created openings Boston could exploit around the rim. Kelsey Mitchell benefited too, catching the ball with actual space to shoot because defenders were scrambling to recover after Clark attacked the paint. Sophie Cunningham and Natasha Howard were filling lanes and getting cleaner opportunities simply because the defense could not stay organized once Clark started moving downhill. That is the hidden story underneath the 3-point numbers. Clark recognized early that the outside rhythm was not fully there yet. So instead of forcing logo shots over and over, she adjusted the way she controlled the game. She stopped waiting for the perimeter shot to rescue the offense and started attacking defenders directly. And honestly, it may have unlocked another layer of her game entirely. The behind-the-back assist to Maisha Hines-Allen against Dallas became one of the most replayed clips of the week for a reason. That play was not luck. It was elite processing speed. Clark read the coverage in real time, anticipated the help defender would rotate, and delivered the pass before the defense even realized the opening existed. That is not what a struggling player looks like. That is what a superstar playmaker looks like when the scoring approach evolves. After the Dallas game, Clark explained it herself in the clearest possible terms. She said, "The best thing I can do for this team is playmake." That was not frustration talking. That was a player fully aware of what the defense is giving her and understanding how to punish it even without the 3-ball firing at full strength. And the numbers back her up completely. Through 2 games, Indiana's offense is still generating quality looks because of the pressure Clark creates every time she attacks the paint. Boston, Mitchell, Hall, Cunningham, and Billings are all getting real opportunities off Clark's drive and kick game. The offense is functioning because she is forcing defenses to bend. That is why calling this a slump misses the bigger picture entirely. A true slump is when a player stops impacting the game. Clark is still controlling everything around her. She is scoring efficiently inside, creating shots for everyone else, and forcing defenses into chaos every possession. The 3-point shot may still be catching up, but the rest of her game already looks terrifying. After the Sparks game, Caitlin Clark sat down with reporters and addressed the situation directly. No vague cliches, no rehearsed, we just have to keep working answers. She talked openly about the back issue and admitted that the challenge right now is mental just as much as physical. Trusting her body again is not something she can simply decide to do overnight. It comes back through repetition, through movement, through stacking enough healthy reps together that the hesitation slowly disappears on its own. And then she said something that completely changed the way people should look at this shooting stretch. Clark explained that her shot actually feels good. She said it feels like it is right there. Think about what that means for a second. That is not a player who believes her mechanics disappeared somewhere between the off-season and opening night. That is not someone lost at the 3-point line trying to rediscover her form from scratch. It is almost the opposite. Clark knows exactly what the shot is supposed to feel like. She can feel the release, the rhythm, the timing. The problem is that the ball is not consistently falling yet anyway. For shooters, that could be one of the strangest and most frustrating experiences imaginable. Because the issue is not confusion. She is not guessing. She is waiting for her body to fully reconnect with the freedom and trust that made those shots automatic before the injury entered the picture. Clark also made it clear she is not sitting around waiting for the three-point shot to magically return before impacting games. Instead, she has completely adjusted how she attacks defenses. She talked about getting downhill, getting her feet into paint, drawing contact, finishing at the rim, and then reading the defense from there. Against Los Angeles, she noticed defenders collapsing hard on Aaliyah Boston whenever Boston rolled toward the basket. So Clark adapted in real time. She started hunting weak side kickouts, spray passes, and quick reads that punished help defenders for overcommitting. Rather than standing 30 feet from the hoop, forcing contested logo threes, she turned herself into a downhill playmaker who bends the defense every possession. And honestly, that adjustment may end up making her even more dangerous long-term. Clark also pointed out that her burst and speed feel noticeably better this season compared to last year. That matters because once she can consistently pressure the rim at full speed, defenses are forced into impossible choices. If they stay home on shooters, she gets a lane. If they collapse into the paint, somebody ends up wide open on the perimeter. The irony is that the exact aggressiveness replacing her three-point game right now is eventually going to create cleaner three-point looks once the rhythm fully returns. Defenders are already being forced to respect the drive first, which naturally opens space behind the arc later. The mental side of all this is very real, and Clark did not minimize it. Back injuries affect more than movement. They affect trust. Every deep pull-up comes with a split-second moment where the body asks whether it can fully commit without discomfort. That hesitation is tiny. At her level, tiny changes everything. And the Fever appear to understand that. Stephanie White and the coaching staff are carefully managing Clark's workload, avoiding unnecessary strain, and treating this as a process rather than trying to force peak form 2 games into a long season. Clark's approach has been straightforward from the beginning. She is not panicking about the misses. She is finding other ways to dominate games while her body catches up. And the scary part for the rest of the league is that she is already producing elite numbers before the signature three-point shot has fully returned. Caitlin Clark's approach right now is remarkably simple. Keep attacking, keep creating, and do not force the three-point shot before the rhythm naturally returns. After the Sparks game, she explained that she has not allowed the misses to affect her mentally. She told reporters, "I haven't let that bother my mind," adding that the shots are eventually going to fall as long as she keeps taking the right ones within the flow of the offense. That mindset matters because it shows she is not chasing highlights or trying to shoot herself out of a slump with reckless logo attempts. She is trusting the process, trusting the work she has already put in, and trusting that the shot will eventually come back to her instead of trying to force it into existence. And even while waiting for that rhythm to fully return, she is still averaging more than 20 points and 8 assists per game. Think about how absurd that sounds in context. Clark is 3-4-16 from beyond the arc through 2 games. Yet she is still producing elite offensive numbers while shooting above 80% on 2-point attempts. That one statistic from deep range is the only thing keeping her early season profile from looking like an immediate MVP campaign. Because if you zoom out and apply normal expectations to her shooting numbers, the picture changes quickly. Clark is roughly a 34% three-point shooter at the professional level. Over 16 attempts, that percentage projects closer to 5 or 6 made threes instead of 3. Add just a couple more makes across those 2 games, and suddenly her scoring averages spike. The Fever's offensive rating climbs, and the entire narrative surrounding her start looks completely different. That is what makes this stretch so fascinating. She is already dominating games while her signature weapon is temporarily offline. Defenses clearly recognize it too. Los Angeles spent much of the game sagging off Clark at the perimeter and loading extra bodies into the paint. Clark even mentioned afterward that defenders were collapsing heavily on Aaliyah Boston every time Boston rolled to the basket. Teams are daring Clark to beat them from deep again before they fully respect the outside shot. But the danger in that strategy is obvious. The second Clark starts converting from long range at anything close to her normal rate, the entire defensive structure collapses. You cannot sag off a shooter with her range and survive once the percentages normalize. The moment defenders start closing out aggressively at the arc, the driving lanes become even wider than they already are. That means more blow-bys, more paint touches, more free throws, and more open kick-out opportunities for players like Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull. Boston gets cleaner catches around the rim. The spacing opens everywhere. Right now, Indiana's offense is functioning well, even with defenses treating Clark's perimeter game as something they can live with temporarily. But there is another level this team reaches once defenders are forced to honor the three-point shot again. That is why analysts still believe 2026 could become Clark's MVP season despite the rough shooting start. A one-dimensional scorer collapses when their primary shot disappears. Clark hasn't. She has simply shifted the way she controls games. She is scoring inside, manipulating defenses, creating open looks for teammates, and maintaining elite production while waiting for the outside shot to catch back up. And once it does, the version of Caitlin Clark the league is seeing right now may end up being even harder to stop than the one everyone remembers from Iowa. Caitlin Clark is not simply surviving this shooting slump. She is still controlling possessions through it. And that might be the most important takeaway from the first two games of the season. Even with the three-point shot not falling consistently, she is still bending defenses, creating open looks, and producing elite numbers in ways most guards in this league cannot. That tells you something critical about the full version of her game. When the outside shot finally catches up, the pressure she already puts on defenses becomes almost impossible to manage. Stephanie White's offensive system has taken criticism from fans who believe the structure is disrupting Clark's perimeter rhythm by changing where and how she receives the ball. But there is another way to interpret what Indiana is doing right now. White has openly discussed wanting Clark to evolve beyond simply being a high-usage point guard bringing the ball up the floor every possession. She wants her operating from different spots on the court, attacking from multiple angles, and even developing a stronger post-up game because of her size and touch around the basket. If the Fever are intentionally limiting some of the high-risk logo situations while Clark's back continues recovering, then what looks frustrating to fans may actually be part of a longer-term plan. Patience in this situation might not be hesitation. It might be strategy, because everything still comes back to the back injury. That is the variable driving all of this. If Indiana manages Clark carefully through the early stretch of the season and gets her to a place where she fully trusts her body again on those deep pull-up shots, the second half of 2026 could look completely different from what people are seeing right now. The foundation is already there. Kelsey Mitchell is getting quality looks. Aaliyah Boston is finding her spots inside. Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham are filling lanes and spacing the floor effectively. The supporting cast is legitimate and already functioning within the system. Now imagine what happens once Clark's three-point percentage climbs back into the low to mid-30s, which is right in line with her normal range. Defenses suddenly lose the ability to sag off her at the perimeter. The paint opens wider. Driving lanes expand. Rotations become impossible to recover from. The entire offense levels up overnight. And that is why the numbers through two games are so wild when you actually think about them. Clark is 3 for 16 from deep and still averaging more than 20 points and 8 assists, while shooting over 80% on two-point attempts. She's still making highlight passes that dominate social media and controlling games even without her signature weapon fully online. After the Sparks game, Clark said her shot feels great and feels like it is right there. She also made it clear she believes Indiana will be competing deep into the playoffs. That confidence does not sound like a player searching for answers. It sounds like someone who already knows exactly where her game is headed once everything clicks back into place.